My first question is, what attracted you to this like completely unique film?
The director, Yorgos, I'd seen his film Dogtooth, which is his last film that's in Greek, and I thought it was one of the most spectacular pieces of filmmaking I'd ever seen. So I actually sought him out and told him I wanted to work with him, and that's how I got the job.
How did you feel when he described the premise of the film to you?
He didn't actually describe it to me. He just said, "I'm writing something now," and just sent it to me. That was my attempt at a Greek accent there. But he just sent it to me, so there was no setup. Nor was there ever any discussion about the film between he and myself or him and any other actors. Everyone just agreed to do it, and we came on board, and we never discussed anything.
Huh. Was it hard, during shooting, was it hard to envisage how the film would turn out?
Impossible to envisage, yeah. And sometimes impossible not to laugh, yeah.
So when you saw it for the first time, what was your reaction like?
I was completely startled, and I really needed to see it again because it was so, I think often when you make a film you have a sense of how it will end up, and in this case there was no way I could have. It was so much more wildly imaginative and interesting than anything that I could imagine that, I need to see it a few times.
I saw it 3 days ago and I feel like I'm still processing it. And like you say, I feel like I need to see it at least once more to kind of begin getting my head around it.
Yeah.
The world's so immersive that you kind of want to go back and look at each kind of corner of it.
Yeah.
Did you expect it to be as funny as it was?
I did expect it to be funny because I'd seen Dogtooth, so I knew the kind of tone that he deals in, that the humour comes out of people being incredibly straight and deadpan and committed, sort of in a way that, I don't know, I'm thinking of Peter Sellers today as I'm describing it, when he's very, very earnest, when he was very, very earnest and committed in a role, and that made it incredibly funny because it's so absurd.
What's the reaction been like so far from people who've seen it? I guess it would be impossible to second guess what the reaction was going to be like, but has it taken you by surprise?
I've met people who've really enjoyed it. I think it's fantastic. So I guess I'd only be. I hope people really enjoy it. Yeah. I don't really know what the reaction's been. I mean, it won the jury prize in Cannes, so that's good.
The reaction's been really positive, and kind of the tag that seems to have been slapped on it is, one of the weirdest films you'll ever see, in a good way though. Could you imagine yourself making a film that's even more unusual than this one, or do you think this is kind of peak weird?
I hope I would love to work with Yorgos again in the future, so maybe he'll make something. I mean, it's strange because it's only weird because of the rules that the universe sets up. The universe looks like, there are much weirder films where there are aliens and special effects and robots, and, it's so low tech. It's just, a chair is a chair and a room is a room and a car is a car, and it's somewhere in Northern Europe. There's nothing visually strange happening. It's just the way in which people engage is strange. The rules of engagement are strange, and I love that. I love that it's high concept and low tech. So it was incredibly low budget, and if they wanted more light, they would switch the lamp on in the room. There weren't any, big lighting setups, or there was no hair, no makeup. It was very, everything was very minimal, which I appreciated immensely. So what's unusual and what makes the film weird, as you say, is just Yorgos's imagination. So I think that's pretty extraordinary.
I guess the film is kind of people reacting in a way that you can imagine them reacting if they were living according to these totally out there rules. Like the way they behave often isn't is as you'd expect, basically.
Yeah, they're living in a kind of slightly totalitarian states, aren't they? But I think Yorgos would say we're all living according to the rules of even a so-called democracy that we're supposed to be in here in England. We're still obeying rules. No one's really stepping outside of the rules very much. And I think that's what interests him, is a kind of the way we get ideologically brainwashed and all behave very obediently. And even in the film, the people who are rebelling from the dominant ideology, they're also rule-bound. So how do you think or behave or act or dream or create or do anything in an original way? I think that's the question the film asks,